What's up, cheeseheads? Before we get into today's podcast, we wanted to tell you about what Ethan and I have been up to in 2022. Something very exciting. It's a new product that we have launched for employee engagement called the Pool Boys. Tell them what's up.
That's right. So right here, as you can see, the Pool Boys, what we want to do is create an awesome environment for your office pools. So we're going to come in, we're going to run everything for small business owners, large business owners, basically business owners, where we want to come in, provide an awesome red carpet experience where we up the engagement, up the fun by running your office pools, whether it be March Madness. We got some fun fall offerings, whether it be college football pick'em, NFL pick'em, Survivor. We got you covered no matter what the pool is. We are your boys for it. So let's get going.
That's right. This is an employee engagement play. If you're having any trouble at all with retention or engagement or even internal communication, let the Pool Boys take a look and show you some of the products that we can offer. We shoot customized videos with these handsome fellas, and we send them to your team, and we talk trash about your people. It's so much fun. I got to tell you.
We build you up too. Don't worry. It's not just trash, but there is a lot of trash.
There is some trash. All right, guys, check us out at www.thepoolboys.net, and we're going to get into the episode now. Welcome back to Fold in the Cheese. It's your boy K-Troll on the mic today, joined as always by Ethan Gelfand, numero dos, Gelfand. What's happening, E?
Numero dos, Gelfand. I don't even know what that
Number
means.
2. Tell them what you do, number 2.
Number 2 is taking anyway. Hey, man. How's it going? Hey, great shirt. Did I just send that to you?
Rocking Banana Hammer myself. I ordered my own. It just took a couple extra days to get all the way down here to Tennessee.
But see, when you're a top fan, you get it right away. You know,
you must have got priority mail. I don't know.
Exclusive perks is all I'm going to say. So I got by the hammers. That
make sure I was repping mine today.
Yeah, man. I love that shirt. I'm going to rock that all. It's a great color. I love the logo. It's spectacular. I can't get enough of it.
It's gonna draw a lot of questions, I think. A lot of like, hey, what's Banana Hammer? And be like, let me tell you. You know what we should have done? One thing you should have done is you should have put in like a QR code or something that people could just scan the shirt to go straight to their site.
That's actually not a bad idea. When we get the Folding the Cheese merch and some Pool Boys merch, we'll get the code on there.
We'll have the QR codes on there.
Yeah, I kind of like that. So, of course, my wife, when she saw me rocking the Banana Hammer shirt, she just so many questions. I'm like, Kiers, just go with it. Just this one.
I don't get it. It's a shark and a banana. What?
Of course, her mind went dark and stuff. I'm like, Kiers, oh no. But anyway, so in honor of her, I'm rocking her shirt. Little Live Fitness.
Nice.
Inspired. Yeah.
Shoot. Yeah.
Some fitness needs. www.livefitnessinspired.com.
Love that.
Okay. Yeah.
Well worth your time. We've got some fitness inspired swag as well. Yes. We got like a 50th workout shirt or something. I forget what it was.
Route 66.
Route 66.
Did we send Miles a onesie? I can't remember.
I feel like you did.
Probably.
Him or Nora, one of them. Yeah.
One of those two. Okay.
I think we did get a onesie. We're proud members of the club.
She taught a class this morning at 5:30. Woof. Rough getting up.
Yikes. That is 4:30 my time. Wow.
That is not happening my
time. Well, hey, I want to talk about the segments today because I think we're going to have some good conversations here because today we're covering D&D versus Magic. And I want to hear about your cable TV-less childhood. Which of these games you preferred, D&D or Magic cards?
You're actually going to be
nerd.
You're going to be very surprised to hear
I didn't play either.
I didn't play it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, though, there was one summer where I went to camp with my buddy Larry, who is going to be joining us on the mock draft next week. So get pumped for that.
What up, El Schwim? So let's go.
We actually did, ironically, we did a summer program up here in Michigan at the University of, just ironically. And one thing he got me into for that summer, and again, it fits in with D&D and Magic, was Pokemon cards.
Oh, man. I thought we were too old for Pokemon.
No, he was way into the Pokemon cards, and I didn't know anything about them. So there was like this comic book shop that wasn't too far from campus, and so we went and like would buy packs and stuff. I knew nothing. I had no idea what the heck was going on. I didn't know how to play any of these card games. So I didn't know how to play Magic. I just didn't get it. And so Pokemon is kind of like the same thing, just with these little characters. So yeah, it just right over my head, man. Right over my
Okay,
head.
so that's not good. So I did play both of these things
I'm
some.
sure you.
I have a friend who was very into D&D, and so I would occasionally play. And then he was also very
Asking for a
into.
friend.
He was
Asking for a
also.
friend. How many cards do
I was
you
not a
have?
dungeon master. Shut up.
You have
Um,
5 20-sided die.
and then Magic cards were popular when we were kids. And then I ended up getting Star Wars cards, which is the exact same game, but they were Star
Same
Wars
idea.
characters as well. Pokemon was I was already too old for that by the time it came out, I thought, but maybe that's because things happen in Illinois like 10 years after they hit everywhere else. So
Just
I don't
it's a
know.
little slower getting there.
It is like a time warp. But so
Dude,
I was into
like,
both of these things.
So was Stranger Things just like a callback to your childhood? Like you were playing in the basement?
Sort of.
Kemper the Wise.
Truly, we didn't play that often. So like we were more video game kids, and he was like a big time video game kid too. But we played probably maybe like once or twice a year. It was not frequently.
Come on. There's no
For real.
way.
No, because, and I'll tell you why, this is going to like in the weeds of D&D. Our dungeon master was his brother who's 12 years older. And so like he'd have to be back from college or something, or
So
like
he was Eddie. Dude, this is literally
he was Eddie.
Stranger
He was
Things.
Eddie. Yeah.
It was Eddie.
I was clearly Dustin. I was building some kind of ham radio device.
With your girlfriend who lived in Canada, or I guess it's a
Yeah, my
Mormon
fake
in
girlfriend
Utah.
who it turned out to be real. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been Lucas in that crew for sure. For sure. It's definitely the only athlete in that crew.
Fair. Okay.
But yeah, so I enjoyed both these things. I have no hate for the D&D crowd. I'm not like a diehard. I'm not like way in there. I got no hate for
got
that
no
at
hate
all.
for it either. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I just I couldn't, again, with Magic especially, I guess never understood it. I guess, I don't know. I wasn't patient enough.
Nah, it's pretty self-explanatory, honestly. You just gotta, the cards tell you what they do. So it's
But then
not
how
that
do you
difficult.
keep track of like, oh, that was 5 hit points. Your character has 30. Like, how do you keep track? I don't see people with paper writing it down. And
I don't know. I don't actually
use
remember how we
the
did that.
mana. And all I know, and again, maybe I'm getting too far into the weeds. If I remember correctly, there was like one card that was worth like $1 bajillion.
Yeah.
And will you be impressed if I can pull it out of my butt?
The card right now? You have it in your butt? Oh my God.
Right there.
This is amazing. It's not worth that much if it's covered in poop.
So like, would you know it if I said the name of the card? I'd be like, yes,
probably. Maybe.
It was like the Black Lotus or something.
It was a black something. Maybe Black Lotus.
Okay.
I don't know. That sounds right.
I just remember hearing that. That was big. Like, oh, this is one card. It's worth thousands of dollars. And I'm like, okay,
I don't understand the value really, but we'll get Nerd Stat Boy on that one. He's our other stat boy. Yeah, he does all the nerdy stat stuff.
Fair.
We can check that out. But
I had a good Pokemon card though. It was a Venusaur. For anybody who knows Pokemon, thought that was pretty cool.
Well, my son's way into Pokemon, and so I know most of the characters.
Get him to check in 1999 Pokemon Venusaur. Let me know.
Yeah, 99. Way too old in 99 to be playing Pokemon.
Maybe.
It was like a child's cartoon show. So the reason that we were even talking about this today is because D&D today is going to stand for do not draft. All right, so do not draft. So we're talking about players that we are either not going to draft or going to try very hard to draft. MAGGIIC is a very extended acronym.
Yeah, this one.
I gotta get him if I can. And I gotta get him is more of an A gotta get him. So,
but also like the M is IM as opposed to EM. Gotta get him.
It's like him. Get him if I can. Listen, we do the best we can here. All right. D&D and Magic just made too much sense, and I couldn't come up with a Pokemon acronym, so I didn't really need that. Hey, players or keepers. Everyone must own now. Pokemon done.
There we go. See, it wasn't too hard.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, going back to D&D. So the characters in Stranger Things, the bad guys, is a Demogorgon actually a D&D character?
I know that Gorgons are. So yeah, I don't know for sure if the Demogorgon specifically or whatever.
The Mind Flayer?
I don't know. Probably. I would say probably. I think it was fairly realistic to the game. Like there's so many different scenarios or campaigns they call them that you go on and different boss level creatures you would face or whatever. But I will tell you, like, very weirdly enough, and I played some video games that sort of had some of the same characters and stuff. Like, it surprises me how frequently I have to recall some kind of creature that is total fantasy creature. And someone will be like, like, well, even think about like Pegasus or something. They're like, do you know what like Pegasus is? And I'm like, yep, that's a flying horse. Like I knew that because I played some of these video games that were like fantasy video games or like played D&D or whatever. Like it's weird how many times that kind of stuff sort of comes up.
True. So I'm guessing Vecna was probably a big baddie, right? He had to be up there. You don't know. All right, we're gonna have to do our research. We'll come back.
I'm not sure if like the name, that specific name, would have been in the game or not, but I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay.
I never faced off against Vecna, so I don't.
You were not strong enough. You're only like a level 2 mage
yeah.
or something.
Yeah. I was usually a paladin, which is like a crusader who also could heal the teammates.
You were a healer. Would not expect that of you. I would have thought you would be like a guy wielding the big old axe, just like.
Well, yeah. The paladin also had like a mace or like a club or something. So like, yeah, a blunt object. So I was also like, they're fighters in the front lines, but they're also able to heal. I wasn't like a nurse. I wasn't like a nurse, like Gaylord Fokker in there, like, hey guys, get over here. I'll stitch up that wound. Good luck with that dragon thing.
Man, I just have so many more questions, but we'll leave that for another time. Maybe that'll be off air. Off air.
The graphics on this video are gonna be so hot when I get in there. so much fire.
So much fire.
All right, let's get into the D&D portion of this episode, which is going to be about the do not draft. And these are players that I think they're not so much that we hate the player by any stretch. In some cases, these are like total stud players. But I'm not going to draft them where they're currently going via their ADP. And so you and I both came up with a list of players at each position here that we are probably going to pass on in most drafts because they're just going a little bit too high. And either we think that you don't want to jump in that position that early, or maybe you think that player is actually going to regress a little bit and not be as worth the pick that they're going at, right?
I think a lot of it for me when I was looking at it is like a lot of them I found I liked the player, I just didn't like the draft position. It's just,
yeah. So I've mostly that, but I also have some people I'm kind of like, I don't really even love the player this year, or at least not as much as I normally would. So I'm gonna start off big name right out of the gate, quarterback. Patrick Mahomes. Woo! He's going in the third, fourth, maybe that turn. I'm nervous. Not like, obviously he's a freak talented athlete. He's going to get his, but the receiving corps took a big hit when Tyreek left, and they fill the void with like Juju's been injured a bunch. Valdez-Scantling has the drops always. He's going to have his flashes, but Mecole Hardman's got this injury now too, like a groin injury. So like, I don't know. I'm nervous that teams are going to try and bracket Kelsey and let them beat them with the other receivers. And you also have to get on the same page. Like it takes time to get on the same page. And if you're not practicing, these are fast guys. They're going to have like deep crossers and fly routes and stuff. Like those things are all about timing. Shoulder throws, all about timing. And I'm nervous that you're going to see some drop off there. He's still going to get his, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to be worth that pick.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think there will be a slight drop off. I guess I don't see it as much. I still feel like a Juju. I thought Juju was a great pickup for them just because I think he fits in really well. He's shown he can shoulder a load. Granted, he had a monster year with Antonio Brown, so that was interesting that they could feed those two mouths. And then when he was by himself, he then was by committee, and then he still had some nagging injuries. I really like to fit him there in KC. But so yeah, I do agree to you that again, Mahomes is going to get his points, but I agree that you should stay away from him in that round.
I think he's not gonna get the same points he normally does either. Like I also think he's not gonna be the same 1 or 2 quarterback this year.
But then I start thinking if he's gonna be in the same mold as an Aaron Rodgers, where it's like, prior to Devontae or even when Devontae had him, it's like he didn't have anybody else, but yet he was still, back-to-back MVPs, and he was still up there in terms of points. And then I did hear a crazy stat that Mahomes, through his first 50 starts, is the winningest quarterback in first 50 starts, which is crazy. So I don't know. I kind of had them in the same conversation, which is interesting.
Yes, I hear you. And in fact, I actually have Aaron Rodgers as my next. Probably not going to own him this year. Is a nice segue there. See what you did. He's going in the 9th, and not that that's like too rich of a round to take a quarterback. I'm also nervous about him this year.
That I see a drop off.
Yeah, I see a drop off, and like I get the narrative, like go ahead, doubt Aaron Rodgers, see what happens. Like he's just going to blow it up. Like that's what happened 2 years ago when he had the MVP season. It was people were coming in saying he was washed and all this kind of stuff. It's just Devontae Adams. There's no other weapons, whatever. And he's like, I don't care. I'll throw to him all day. He's going to throw the running backs. They're going to be dangerous, I think, both of them. So he'll get his too. But I think there's going to be a drop off. I really
There
do.
will be a drop off there.
There's got to be. There's got to be.
That COVID toe is going to come back. Watch out.
COVID toe, look out.
Cold
So
weather.
those are my two quarterbacks. I'm probably not going to have that are like top 10 guys. I'm probably just not going to have them this year. I'm not going to take the lead.
So I went with another high profile name, and that was Kyler Murray. I'm not taking him because I see him, some people are taking him as early as the 4th. I kind of put him as the 5th rounder, but same kind of thing as Mahomes. You're losing DeAndre for 6 weeks. You're not going to have, Hollywood Brown. It's a good pickup, but you're losing a Christian Kirk. So you're losing some of those other reliable weapons. And I don't know. While Kyler has always been in like a top 5, top 6 quarterback category, it's never been like overwhelmingly. It's just like, yeah, he's there. And I don't know. I just see a drop off with no DeAndre, no Christian Kirk. And I mean, I know he just signed that massive, he had the drama in the offseason, finally signed the deal. So I don't know. I just see a little, I'm worried about it, and I just wouldn't take him that high. I mean, again, if he falls to me in like 6 or 7, sure.
Yeah, and the 5th, that's pretty high. Because if you wait to the 6th or 7th, you're looking at Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson, maybe even Lamar Jackson, who's probably more a 5th. But you've got the pocket guys like the Bradys of the world, and like there are other options out there 1 or 2 rounds later. Dak in like the 8th or 9th. I mean, those are guys like that I feel pretty confident about too. Yeah. The thing about Kyler, I'd say a couple of things. One, AJ Green's not getting any younger, so to your point about losing weapons, like that's also a downgrade. Yeah. They did have Zach Ertz second half of last year. I think it's definitely going to help him early on this year. Mm-hmm. There'll be more in synergy, I guess, because they've worked together a little bit longer. And Rondale Moore, I think, another year under the system, I think he's going to take another step up, honestly. Yeah. So I do think there's some replacement of Christian Kirk with Rondale Moore, but don't forget about Greg Dortch, former Wake Forest, great, lighting it up in the preseason. He's also on that roster. They have a fast roster, dude. This dude's gonna fly. Hollywood, Dortch, and Rondale. And Rondale Moore. Good grief. But I don't disagree with you. The only thing I do find interesting is apparently the whole controversy of his contract was about he has to watch film and all that. I think that's because in part he now is in Kingsbury has said he's going to give Kyler more play calling leash. He's going to give him a longer leash to make calls at the line and on the field. So I think that's probably why that went hand in hand with like you got to watch more film.
You got to watch more film to see this.
But so that could be interesting because if he's got a little more autonomy out there, he calls his own number more. He calls deeper routes more. I don't know. He could light it up because of that, or it could be.
So you taking him in the 4th or 5th?
Not in the 4th. 5th, I'd consider it. I think I looked at him in the 6th in one draft that I was in.
6th. Yeah.
And what I found was, and this is always a great lesson for you. I was in the 8 slot in a 10-team draft. I looked at the grid to see who'd already been drafted, and the 10 spot had already taken a quarterback. And I was in the 6th, and Jalen Hurts and Kyler were both still there. And so,
you took them
knowing the 9, I just drafted 2 players at once. Knowing that the ninth position guy doesn't have a quarterback either, and guessing that he might have been on one of those guys, I was comfortable with either of them. Yeah. But I knew at least one of them would make it back to me after the turn. So I waited. I let him make the call. He took Kyler. I grabbed Jalen on the way back through, and I felt pretty good about that. So that's fair. I think if he's there in the 5th or if he's there in the 6th, I would consider it. But always know your draft position and know what else is kind of coming up after you.
And then kind of leading into that, I mean, as you know, in my drafting history, I don't think I've ever taken a quarterback prior than the 5th or 6th round. And so I put anyone that's not named Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, or Lamar Jackson. Don't take anyone before the 7th. That might be a little bold, but those are the 4 difference makers in my mind. And other than that, as you just mentioned, Jalen Hurts has fallen to a 7. Heck, Kyler Murray almost fell to a 6 or 7. Like, I just think you can wait, and then you're still going to get the Burrows, the Bradys, Matty Stafford. There's a lot there.
Russell Wilson is going like some. Russell Wilson is going. He went in the 10th round in this draft that I was in.
Exactly.
I was like kicking myself.
Unless it's those 4 in my mind, wait. Just wait.
I agree with that. And for me personally, I'm going to drop Mahomes out of that. So I would say if it's Allen, Herbert, or Lamar, I would consider them earlier. But I mean, Allen's also going like second round sometimes. Like that's gonna kill you. He's gonna be a superstar, but that is gonna kill you with what else you get in your team. So
True. Okay.
All right, let's run into the running backs.
Running backs.
Names on my list for this one. We've got Saquon in the second, Nick Chubb in the second, Antonio Gibson still going in the fifth. You heard me rant about him last episode, and Damian Harris in the seventh. What are your issues with my list? And I'll tell you why I don't like these guys.
I mean, you know what we talked about a couple episodes ago. I got to give Damian a little more love. So I would take a Damian Harris in the seventh. If he's like my third running back, I'm totally good with him in the seventh. Antonio Gibson, I know exactly why, as we just talked about last episode. He might not even be the starter. So he's just on do not draft list at all, basically, right now. So that is definitely a huge red flag. Chubb, we talked about briefly, just the fact that, Cleveland could be a dumpster fire this year, especially on offense. No Deshaun for 11 games. I mean, they lost some weapons. Their only real true other threat is Amari Cooper, and then obviously splitting time with Kareem Hunt. So it could be a struggle for Chubb again. But if he's in the third, great pickup in the third or the fourth. I would definitely.
I feel if he's in the fourth, I'm all about it. If he's in the third, I'm thinking about it. I don't love a guy who just doesn't catch that many passes in a PPR full point PPR league. I really hesitate with that. But I mean, that might make him and I'm never going to get him because he's never going to make it to the fourth.
And then I know you in our rankings, you had Saquon all the way down at 19. So I get why you're not taking him in the second.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about that.
Okay.
Damian, my piece on Damian Harris real quick.
Yeah.
I'm nervous that it's going to be at least a time split with Ramondre 50-50. And it could be. Ramondre could take over. I think Damian, I don't remember what his contract situation is remaining, but I think Ramondre could take over, and Damian didn't catch that many passes.
That's true.
I'm like,
Damian has his third year. He's on his third year of his 4-year rookie contract, so he's got stuff to prove. His ceiling isn't as high. That's the thing. They're looking at Ramondre. It's like, holy crap, this guy could be a stud. He's just not there yet. And so Damian's like, nope, you know what you're getting with him, and it can be.
I think he's a really good runner. I really do.
Exactly.
But he's more of just a pure runner, and I also part of this is also I don't trust Belichick with running backs in general. So like,
you never do.
I don't know.
So I get it. I would still take a flyer on him in the seventh. That's me personally, but so then for me, my running backs were Cam Akers. Excuse me, Cam Akers in the third. I too had Chubb. I've seen him gone in the first a few times, so I definitely not in first or second. I haven't had Alvin Kamara in the second, and then for me, I just had Dalvin Cook ever. So I would just never, ever take him again. So if you want to, you can break down my picks. I'm sure you can.
Yeah. Cam Akers, I get the third is a little rich. I'd take him more in the fourth. I've seen him in the fourth some. I've also had to take him in the third a few times. And you've heard me say how much I do like him as a runner.
You like this guy.
We did talk about that. And same argument with Chubb. I think Kamara is interesting because I actually have him on he's sliding too far. I think he's someone that people are going to regret that he fell to like sometimes the end of the second round. I've had him on the turn at the 2-3 turn. I've had like Jonathan Taylor or Christian McCaffrey and Kamara and like a Debo or somebody. And I'm thinking, so in previous years, I did that where Saquon slipped and I regretted it because Saquon never panned out. I don't know. Kamara has never shown that he can't do it. I've never seen that from him. And I don't worry as much about the legal issues at this point. It seems like those are definitely going to get punted. So I don't know why he's still sliding so much.
The thing that worried me is that when he was with Jameis, he didn't do that. It was his targets dropped, his catches dropped, his reception yardage, obviously, all those went down. Yeah. And Jameis is a much, as what I call a YOLO passer, like, oh, that guy's wide open downfield. Let's just hook it. So it was interesting to me to see that he didn't have his grid numbers when Jameis was the quarterback. And then
that's true.
Jameis went down and Kamara's numbers came back up. He does have a slight injury risk. Again, he's one of those guys when I've got him, he gets hurt. It's I'm just a curse. So anyway, just those couple things combined. I just, again, for me in the second, maybe if you're at the end of the second round, definitely is the turn in the third, but again, not high second round for me. And I could be a regret. That could be mine. But
yeah. I think you're dead on about the receptions with Jameis, though. I mean, that's a super valid point because that's so much of his production comes from receiving.
Yeah.
I do think they've like just playbook wise, they've got to make sure they're getting him the ball. I mean, they have better receiving options this year. So
Jarvis,
I don't know. I think he's a playmaker,
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear you. Dalvin Cook, that's just going to be I get that, man. Personal burn. I'm still high on Dalvin, but he's going to miss 3 or 4 games every single season. So like, you just got to prepare for it. When he plays, he's so freaking good.
It's so funny when you and I were doing a mock draft the other night. And I think, what did I do? The 8th pick or something?
You were at the 9 or something, and and your
And then
two guys fell to you. It was Joe Mixon or Dalvin Cook, and you're
and
like,
I was like,
no.
come on.
You're like,
I
I'll
want either
take
one.
Josh Allen. I'll just take Josh Allen. Screw
Just
it.
check it out. All right. So who are some running backs you think are sliding too far?
Okay, so I'm consistently seeing this in the drafts and in their ADP. Kareem Hunt is going in the 10th round, and I get that he's the 1B in that backfield, and I also get everything we said about Nick Chubb and Cleveland's offense being not as good this year. But I think that benefits a pass catching running back, and he is their pass catcher. Before he went there, I thought he was just a primary ball carrier type. He's your workhorse, and that's what he was in Kansas City. They have really used him as a third down back.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll split series too. Like he'll go in and he'll run the ball too, but he's really a premium pass catching running back in Cleveland. 10th round, he's finished top 15, I think, like at least points per game, like every year he's been there.
Yeah. Did he request a trade?
He did, and then I think they said no, and he said, "All right,
no,
okay, I'm back.
Okay.
All right, I'm back.
No,
I just
I
want to
agree.
try." I think everyone's tried to request a trade from Cleveland.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who I'm the one that you're preaching to, because I'm always the one like, dude, it's Kareem Hunt. He's splitting. Like, no. But then when you play against him, like, damn it, he got 20 points, and then you click on his game history, 17, 16, 18, 19, 17. Like, damn it, like, why?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. And it's 10th round. Again, this is a bench player. They're drafting a bench player in the 10th round. Like, I would think he's a really viable flex for me.
So here's a question for you real quick. Damien, if you're sitting in the 10th round, you got Damien Harris and Kareem Hunt. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Kareem Hunt.
Okay.
100%. Okay. If those two are both available with that in the 10th round, I don't think Damien would be there in the 10th round. But either way, I've got Kareem Hunt. Let me see. I've got Kareem Hunt ranked 23. I've got Damien Harris at 31. So that's a no-brainer for me.
No-brainer. Okay. Fair.
Just saying.
Yeah. All right. Who else we got?
All right. So Michael Carter's going in 13th. There are reports that this is still his job for now. You know, I know we've talked about this, and I was kind of on the Breece Hall. I was jumping on that Breece Hall hype train, and you were kind of like, what happened to Michael Carter? He was awesome. And you're not wrong. I think you were right on that one where, okay, I think Breece Hall profiles as more of a every down back.
Sure.
But this is often the case with rookies too. Like, the receiving back from the previous year has got the pass protections down. And if you can't pass protect in the NFL, you cannot play running back.
You're not playing.
They will not put him on the field if he can't protect the quarterback. So Michael Carter's got that down. He's going to get the first chance. Breece Hall, I think, sooner than later will take over as more of a primary back, but it may never be more than like a 60-40 split. And in that case, Michael Carter is going in the 13th round. We know he's a playmaker. Yeah. We know he gets it done in the passing game. I think that's way too far for him to slip.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I mean, as we talked about, like, why are people slamming Michael Carter all of a sudden? I understand Breece Hall and his accolades and all that, but it's still, as you're saying, still his job. So yeah, I agree. Yeah. 13th is way too late for him.
And then the last name we've got on here is Dameon Pierce. We don't know for sure who's going to be the starter in Houston. It appears they may give Marlon Mack the first run, but that's just not gonna. I just don't think that's gonna last long term. Well, I think this guy is going to be too off the field too at some point.
Yeah, what was it, Marlon Mack? The stats were since he's come back from his, what was it, ACL or Achilles? I can't remember.
It was Achilles, I think. Yeah,
it was Achilles. It's like he's averaged 2.5 yards a carry. It's like, okay, this is the guy you want to be your lead runner.
It sucks. So, yeah, I like Marlon Mack, I really do, as a player, but he's just never. He's not a superstar, and he's not. I think Dameon Pierce is a big unknown because he didn't really start at Florida. He was mixed in with other guys every year, but if you see any tape on the guy, or you see just he's a beastly man.
He's a hulking beast.
Yeah. Fair. He's going 12-13. I think I'd rather take a flyer on him sooner because he could be the starter, and that would 100%. Be a huge win. Awesome. Let's jump to receivers. I'm going to let you start with who you're out on this year.
Who I'm out on? Well, I saw yours and I co-signed with this one was Terry McLaurin in the 5th, just because I don't know, just Washington themselves are just in such. It's Carson Wentz all over again. And I know Pittman survived for the most part last year, even as a rookie. And he had a pretty good rookie year. But there's just something wrong in Washington with him and obviously Antonio Gibson. I'm just not going to make my wide receiver 2 or 3 Terry McLaurin. I had him last year. I traded for him, and I thought it was a good upgrade. He was okay, but you don't want okay in the 5th round. You need someone that you're confident in that's going to get you that consistent 17, 18 points, and that's just not him. He showed it last year that he had no consistency, and the targets weren't there. So I'm not taking him in the 5th. If he slides down, great flyer, but not not for the draft position he's currently at. Another name I had, which I don't know if you're going to be surprised at, because I love this guy, and this is a classic case of I love the guy, I love the player, I love his ability, don't love the draft position, and that is Jalen Waddle. Like, he is going way too high. I've seen him as high as the third rounds. Heck, some people I think I saw in the end of a couple number 2 rounds. So again, great player. I think he's going to take a little bit of a step up in Miami this year, just with all the tools they got. And he's going to be a great option, but just not from where he's being drafted. There's no way he is worth a 3rd round pick with Tyreek Hill on the other side, also getting all those targets and yards. So again, love the player, love what he can do, just not in rounds 3 or 4. I had Amari Cooper. I saw him going too high, around 6 or 7. Maybe this could have been prior to the Deshaun Watson news, but I mean, around 6 or 7, you got Jacoby Brissett throwing the ball, or should I say Jimmy G probably going to be throwing him the ball. That's too high for me. And then also a surprising name was Adam Thielen. I just thought I saw him also in 6th, mainly 7th round. And he's obviously taking a step down. He's getting older, but he is a classic guy who will screw you. So like when you're playing against him, you're going to have your classic Adam Thielen game where he goes 10 for 120 and 2 touchdowns, which Aaron Mass always has him, or Towel. I think Drader might. Him and Drader always.
He was a Towel. He was a favorite for Towel for sure.
So he'll bite me in the ass, I'm sure, but I'm not taking him in the 7th.
Okay, so I don't disagree with your logic on all of these, and I have heard that Thielen, he was injured all year last year, and so he wasn't kind of full speed or full strength or whatever. Apparently, he's in great shape, best shape he's ever been in. Whatever, he's back. Right. And I don't know that age matters with him as much, just a style of play. He came into the league a little bit later. He was already older, so like didn't have quite as much wear and tear on him as you might think. But I agree, he's getting older, and it's definitely the Justin Jefferson show. However, new head coach coming over from the Rams. This is going to be more, I think, of a run and gun kind of offense. So you may be surprised on that one. Amari is interesting. So the ADP on Yahoo is saying he's a 9th rounder. But I'm like you, like when I'm in drafts and doing sleeper mock drafts and stuff like that, he's going higher. So I'm not sure who's like totally tanking on him. I actually agree with both of these comments. I think I'm out on him in the 6th round for sure. No way I'm touching him in the 6th. But I actually put him as sliding too far in the 9th round. I think regardless of who your quarterback is, like he's still Amari Cooper. He's still by far their number 1 target. He's better than a 9th round pick, I think, even though I don't like him this year and I probably won't own him. I do think 9th round is ridiculous for like their number 1. They went out and spent all the money to go get him kind of guy. Yeah. So I agree with you, and I agree with this. Jalen Waddle is also interesting. God, I love his talent, but I've seen Tyreek Hill go in the 3rd round in some drafts. And if he's going in the 3rd, I'm certainly not getting Waddle in the 3rd. You know what I mean? So I agree. Like, I just am not certain that Tua can sustain both of them to be as good as they should be. I would have been so stoked about him this year if they hadn't gone out and gotten Tyreek Hill. If he's in the 5th, I would definitely jump. If he's in the 4th, hesitate, depending on the roster construction I had. Sure. And then, your points about McLaren are all good for me. I'm worried that he's going to be Michael Pittman this year and he's going to ball out. And we're going to be like, that actually would have been a really good pick in the 5th, but I'm nervous about it. I don't think I want it. I think he's a good receiver though. We'll see. I had the Michael Thomas going in the 8th thing. I get the big splashy name. I get the sneaky, I forgot about him. I get that whole thing in drafts. It's fun to be that guy. Yeah. He hadn't played in 2 years, man. Yeah. And like he had some pretty bad injuries. He's already got like a hammy issue going on right now, I think, or a knee or something. Like, I don't know, man. Like I get this one could definitely bite you because he could return to form and be amazing, but
don't worry. He's already tweeting that the media is blowing his injury out of proportion. Don't worry.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, then never mind. I rescind this entirely. I think he's going to be amazing.
Going back to the, out of football for 2 years, his last quarterback was Drew Brees. If we don't forget, also one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And a lot of his routes were precision routes and, crossing and timing and all that. Is that Jameis Winston's
forte? It's not his game. It's not his game.
He's YOLO. He's like, hey, Mike, just go.
Go deep, Mike. Go deep. I'm just going to chuck it.
I mean, I think he's still an incredible talent. Been out of football for 2 years. Different style of quarterback. So, yeah, I think 100% he's going to take a drop off. And, I mean, maybe people are saying, dude, the 8th is a great flyer on him.
You want your team, like, it's going to sound amazing when you have Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, maybe even Alvin Kamara, and Michael Thomas, you're gonna be like, this is the best team ever. And be like, yeah, 4 years ago that
I was
was the
gonna say
best team
3-4
ever.
years ago it is.
You know, but like it ain't 2019 anymore. You know, it's not 2020. It's not about the biggest names necessarily. And so
blind resumes.
in that sense, right? Podcasts like ours have come up with these great segments to showcase to you why people like this are not good. And so because of that, in other big names, Julio Jones, I don't care if he's going to the 13th. You can take a flyer in the last round of your draft, whatever, but like, dude is washed. Okay. He is done. I don't care if it's Tom Brady. Nah, I'm out. I'm out on Julio. I'm so salty about
Julio
him.
On the 13th, man.
I'm so salty about him. Go ahead. I hope you do. I hope you do. I hope you do, because that'll free me up to get Robert Woods, who's sliding too far into the 12th and 13th round. And I would definitely take Robert Woods over Julio, even though Woods has come back from an injury. Give me that. Give me that. I'll take that. DK's going in the 6th. I think that, like, I get, again, it's sort of the Amari Cooper thing. Like, I get the quarterbacks are a dumpster fire, but like, he's freaking DK Metcalf. Again, we could throw the ball to him, and he would just ball out. Like,
can we please throw up that Bleacher Report clip again? Oh, hey guys, who'd you put as references?
I'm so excited for Career Day. The resumes look good, DK.
Hey, how many references do you guys have?
And it's on. Yes. So I mean, he's such a monster.
I mean, I'm seeing him ranked as low as like the 37th best wide receiver. I'm like, there is no way he's 37th.
It's a little insane. It's like overreaction, big time.
Yes.
Rashad Bateman in the 8th. That's just a personal guy that I think is like way better than what he's going at. I think people are gonna feel they're like, this is what I did last year when I got Debo. I got Debo and I got Antonio Brown last year in like the 8th, 9th or whatever. And this is where I love to make. This is where you make your money right here. I think
8th, 9th round, man, is the money round.
Yeah, I think you can get Bateman in that range and do pretty well. Let's move into a couple of tight ends real quick before we start playing magic cards.
Let's go real quick, real back. We already mentioned blind resumes. I think Hunter Renfrow at 10. That's sliding too far, man.
There's obviously the concern that now you brought Devontae in there and Waller's healthy. Is Hunter going to repeat? I personally kind of want to see it. 10th round isn't going to hurt you that bad to take him, and he was so money last year that, of course, we talked about him every episode.
So,
but I think the big concern is like
mouths, which
can't repeat.
Give him a chance.
10th round though, not going to hurt you.
No.
All right, we're just going to do a couple tight ends because again, tight ends suck as well. But I'm probably not going to have Darren Waller this year. I know I just said he's healthier, he's back, but I don't know. I've been burned by him enough, and I feel like he's kind of had his monster years, and I don't know if we can really
2 monster years, but
there were 2 monster years. I just don't know that we can replicate that with him anymore. The injuries are stacking up. People are caught on. I don't know. I'm kind of just personally out of it. He's going in the 5th, and sometimes going in the 4th. And then Dallas Goedert in the 7th. Like, it's the 7th round, so again, like if you want to get your tight end there, that's fine. I don't know. Hawkinson's going in the 7th, and for whatever, maybe people are just mad because he got injured last year, but like Hawkinson to me is a way better tight end than Dallas Goedert.
I agree, and I also think the Detroit offense is going to be better this year too. But I'm so torn on Dallas Goedert because he's burned me before in the past because I'm like, this is a good option. I would get him middle late-ish for tight end wise, and he would have games where it's like 8 receptions, 72 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm like, yes. So then, but the only thing is Tyler Lockett syndrome. Then he gets 2 for 10. Yep. So it's like fluff, man. Like you're going up and down. That's way too much insecurity for me. But I mean, honestly, in the 7th round, I would take that flyer on him just because he has that capability to do that. But I don't know. Tight ends are such a wasteland. It's just like,
I feel like Dawson Knox is going like the 9th, and it's kind of the same deal where I'm like, he's a touchdown maker and he can have those monster games. I mean, they brought in AJ Brown too. You got Devontae Smith 2nd year. I don't know. I think that they don't have Zach Ertz, so obviously he's the tight end right now. So I get that. I think AJ is going to command a lot of attention though, and I think he's going to need the ball a lot to make that deal worthwhile. And I don't know.
That's fair. I also took a similar approach as I did with quarterbacks. I said, anyone that's not named Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce, if you take before the 4th round, come on.
Now, I will tell you, I do like Kyle Pitts in the 4th.
I knew you were going to say Kyle Pitts, but 4th would be pushing it for me. The Falcons are going to be one of the worst teams in the league.
You have to build your team the right way because this is so important too. And we'll mention this more in the perfect draft, but look ahead at what you could be getting in the 5th, 6th, and 7th before you make a decision like this. I jumped on. I took Pitts in the 4th in my the first draft I've done so far, because I already had stars in the right kinds of positions where I was like, okay, I see coming back through here, like AJ Dillon could be my RB2, and I was happy about that personally.
Right.
If you're not happy about that, don't do it, because that's who's going to be left. But I was like, I know I can get him later, and I'll feel like that's a steal for me, so I'm going to make the leap. If you don't like the guys that are going to be there in the 5th or 6th, like I would suggest you're probably getting Pitts if you went running back, because the running backs thin out so fast, as is always the case. And you're not going to love having someone in the 8th round as your second running back, right? So I think if you're doing Pitts, you probably want to go running back. There's more receiver value later in the draft, and you can do it, personally. I think Hockenson, I mentioned sliding too far to the 7th. If Dallas Goedert's going in the 7th, and I think Hockenson should. Evan Ingram in the 14th. I know this is kind of a dart throw in the 14th anyway, but I think he's going to have a good year. I really do. I think he will have a really good year in Jacksonville. I think he's got more people to spread the ball around to. Will take some of the attention off of him. He's still a playmaking tight end. You got a young quarterback that love their tight ends, tight end friendly coach.
So you're taking a flyer on him in the 14th. Would you be comfortable with him being your starting tight end?
If I'm taking Evan Ingram in the 14th, then I'm grabbing 2 tight ends, and yes, I'm gonna flip them back and forth. That's how I'm gonna do it. Yeah. So yes, I'll be comfortable if I get him and call it Gerald Everett or David Njoku or someone. Not Tyler Higbee, maybe Tyler Higbee, but yeah, I would be comfortable. T. Higbee can't catch shit. If I have Evan Ingram in the 14th, it's because I'm taking 2 tight ends and I'm figuring out which one's gonna work.
Okay.
Logan Thomas, something like that. I'd be fine doing that. Yeah. And then Dalton Schultz is going in the 8th in some cases. Mm-hmm. Like, what is that all about? Like, he should be like the 5th tight end off the board, maybe 6th, For
whatever reason, got the Hockenson syndrome, whatever. He's dropping like him.
I don't get that at all. Yeah. I'd seen him going in like the 6th, which I thought was too early. 8th is too late. I guess he should be a 7th.
He should be a 7th.
Period.
Whoa, 8 is way too late. 6, way too early.
Way too early.
There it is. Okay, we've narrowed it down, folks.
All right, fine. He's a 7th rounder. Don't do it any other time. You're screwed. He's ADP on Yahoo is 6th, but again, some of this depends on when you do your drafts. When you do your mock drafts, you got to see for sure like where they go. And different sites are gonna be different. So check the ADP everywhere you go. If you're on ESPN, if you're on Sleeper. Average draft position. All right, let's talk about MAGGIIC Man. I got to get him if I can. MAGGIIC Man and El Diablo. Okay. So these are going to be guys that are sort of similar to the sliding too far. They're going later than they should be. And not only that, we're like targeting these guys.
Give me that.
Okay. Yeah, give me that. It's not just like they're sliding, but I'm also like, no, this is going to be my starter. Like I'm definitely going for this guy. So for me, I think Russell Wilson's ADP is in the 8th round. Dak Prescott's in the 9th. I think that's insane, given that you've got people like Kyler in the 5th or 6th, and you've got Jalen Hurts in the 6th, which I love Jalen Hurts. I do. But if he's going in the 6th, then I think Russell and Dak should be going in the 6th. They should be going the same as him. I personally think he shouldn't go in the 6th, but he is. And so because he is, I don't know why people wouldn't also grab these 2.
Well, you should tell them, don't take them in the 6th, so they slide to you in the 8th, so it's fine.
I think all 3 of those guys should be 7th, 8th round guys.
Yeah.
But because Hurts and Skyler are so early, Kyler, why did I say Skyler? Hurts and Kyler are so early. I got Russell Wilson. I got to get him if I can.
Hurts Skyler.
That's what it was. Hurts Skyler.
Hurts Skyler. For me, again, as I've said many times, I like waiting on quarterbacks regardless. But if this guy's available in the 9th, which he has been sliding this far, I'm taking Matty Stafford just because that is too far for him to be going. And I mean, he was a top 3 quarterback last year. And I don't know. I have talked about this before, how I love the Allen Robinson signing. I think that's going to be great for him. You're talking about a healthy Cam Akers. So I just love the offense. It hasn't taken any steps back. He's still got Cooper Kupp. Man, give me Matty Staff. Come on, 9th round.
I completely agree with that. The only concern I have with him is this mention of the elbows tightness or whatever, which probably isn't a thing. And if it's not, you're dead on. Like that is a total steal. He was top 5 quarterback last year, and he was consistent. He was good.
Yeah.
He's got even more weapons now. So yeah, I'm with you there.
And T. Higbee will catch the damn ball.
T. Higbee, Get that ball, T. All right, let's jump into running back. So I mentioned him earlier, but I think Kamara at the 2-3 turn is kind of insane. So I'm jumping all over that if I can get him that late. I'll even take him maybe my second pick if I'm in the middle of the draft. I might take him second round in the middle. I just think there's too much value. Zeke is going in the third round. Now, believe me, I've got my grudge against Zeke for sure, and I likely won't have him, but I did one draft and I already got him because I was like the end of the third round. I was in the eighth slot. It was a 28th pick. I was like, this is crazy. He was injured all year last year and he still averaged like 4.5 yards a carry. Okay, give me a healthy Zeke in the third round. That's crazy.
Yeah,
even I think that's crazy. And then I've mentioned him a bajillion times, but AJ Dillon. AJ Dillon in the 7th. Give me that.
Get off his calves. Come on.
Quads.
Same thing ish. My wife would yell at me. They are not the same thing.
They're not the same thing.
They are not the same thing. All right. So we've talked about him already. If Saquon's there in the third, I'm jumping all over him. I love that value there. Everyone's down on him. I would definitely take him there. Another guy is Travis Etienne. He's a mystery right now. He's a wild card. Obviously missed his whole rookie year last year with the injury. So James Robinson's out in Jacksonville for now, for the time being, with his Achilles. So it's his show right now. And obviously he's got his Lawrence connection. I like him. If he's there in the 5th, 6th, I'm jumping all over that. I just think anytime you can get a dynamic player like that, similar mold of an Alvin Kamara kind of thing, and even like a Saquon, catching balls out of the backfield. So I like that ability. We talked about already, Damon Harris. If he's there in 7, 8, I'm on him. I'm totally good with that value at that position. So give me that. And, if Christian McCaffrey makes his way to the 5th round, I might take a flyer on him. You
might take a flyer on CMC. That's a good call. Yeah. I thought you meant 5th overall, which I was like, even that's insane right now.
I was like, 5th round.
So Etienne.
Like when I got Austin Eckler in the 5th round last year.
Well, that's true. That's just stupid. What was that, an 8-team league or something?
It was 8.
It's still, but either way, he should have been a second rounder either way. That's stupid. Etienne is really interesting. I think he's going to skyrocket up the boards as we get closer to the season. I think just people love the unknown. They just love the potential of he could blow up. He's going to blow up, and I'm going to be the one who called it, right? Everyone wants that. I maintain that I think he's maybe a little small to be like a full workhorse back, but he is a stud, and I loved him in college. He was so good. He's like the all-time touchdown leader. The guy is a stud. I agree with you.
I kind of view him as an Austin Eckler mold.
Similar. Right? Yeah, he really is. And Eckler carried the load pretty well last year. So
yeah,
I don't disagree with you. I think 5th or 6th is kind of insane. I expect that he will end up in like 2nd, 3rd round territory, and people are going to be like, yeah, I don't know about that. And how would you feel about that? If he were in the 3rd, would you jump on him?
Obviously, it depends on who. No, I'm not jumping on the 3rd. At that point, I should have at least one other running back. I'm not jumping on him on the 3rd.
Yeah.
Maybe I would go in the 4th. I would take him in the 4th.
Okay. I think you're going to have to if you want him.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, guys we got to have. Cortland Sutton in the 6th for me. I think he's going to have a huge year. Brandon Cooks in the 8th. We talked about him. Least sexy name in the draft, but it's the 8th round, for God's sake. You want 15 points a week? Brandon Cooks, 8th round. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8th round. Dude, I love me some Amon-Ra. And Rashad Bateman, 9th round. Talked about him enough as well. Gimme that.
Well, I'm taking Amon-Ra in the 7th, so you're not going to have him in the 8th.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, Homer pick.
It is a Homer pick. Something. I'm seeing them every week, man. Come on.
I know. He's a Hard Knocks too, right?
Yeah. So a guy I'm taking in the 6th is Mike Williams. I'm just loving that Chargers offense. Him and Keenan, that's just dynamic. And Justin Herbert's only getting better. So give me Mike in the 6th. Talked about him already. I'm gonna be pretty bummed if I don't get Allen Robinson at some point. So, I might have to jump. I might have to reach for him now. We've been talking him up so much, and our listeners are like, "Oh my gosh, Allen Robinson."
His ADP is going to jump 3 rounds just from this podcast.
3 rounds, and then as much as it hates me to say it, I'm taking a Jet in the 8th. Elijah Moore. He showed huge flashes of what he can do, what he's capable of, and being fully healthy and maybe a little more consistency at quarterback, I think he can take a next step. So
if you could take Elijah Moore or Amon-Ra,
I got to go with Amon.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I think he's gonna have a great year. I think the 8th round's got a bunch of good receivers, man.
Yeah.
I feel that's what I'm talking about with taking Pitts early
Receivers and
potentially,
team.
or even a quarterback. I'm like, there's some really good dudes out there that are gonna get PPR, really solid PPR action.
Yes, concur.
All right, let's move on to tight ends. I mentioned him earlier, Kyle Pitts in the 4th. I'm willing to make that jump. I think he's truly special. Dawson Knox at the 8-9 turn. I mean, again, I think it's kind of crazy. He was like a top 5 tight end last year. And then Cole Kmet in the 13th. We both talked him up a little bit. I think he'll be. I mean, who else are going to throw it to? Yeah, Darnell Mooney, and you've got Byron Pringle. I don't. I mean, I don't know. I think it's got to be Cole Kmet, right?
No, I agree. We mentioned him in their division preview. I like Cole Kmet, especially in the 13th. Shoot, I'd take that.
So if I could do Kmet and Ingram, that's another build. I might do, get both of them. And honestly, Kmet's sort of like a Freiermuth to me, where like I feel like he could be the only guy you have on your roster and you'd be fine. I really do.
No, I like that a lot. For me, we talked about him just in the tight ends. If Dalton Schultz is there in the 8th, jumping all over that. He's, as we talk about, top 4 or 5 tight end. And so if he's there, give me that. Yep. And then I've talked about him too. MAGGIIC Man. He's going as far as the 13th. I think he's a better option than Cole Kmet if they're both in that same round. Give me Mike.
Too many mouths to feed, bro.
Give me
Too many mouths to feed.
Give me you.
Feed Mike. Okay. That's the guys we got to have. Man, I got to get him if I can. Magic. All right. So now we're going to give you our sleepers of the year. These are not like no-name sleepers. These are guys you could legitimately draft and could actually start. This is not like, I think this random-ass rookie who is not even maybe going to make the team is going to be a sleeper. Like, no, these are real names. But quarterback has to be outside the top 10 in
Bailey
ADP. Bailey Zapp, who I hate that he landed on the Patriots after they had a rookie quarterback. I'd love to see what he could actually do. Tight ends have to be outside the top 10. Running backs have to be outside the top 20. Receivers have to be outside the top 30 because there's just so damn many of them. So give me your sleeper quarterback being drafted outside the top 10 currently.
Man, I got to get him, right? Get him in if I can. Him, whatever. MAGGIIC Man,
if I can.
Matty Stafford. I'm saying he's outside the top 10. He's 11-12. How am I not taking that guy? He's sleeping. Everyone's sleeping on him. Say, if not a better offense, was top 5 last year. Give me that.
Okay. If I'm on ESPN, it's Russell Wilson. He's going 11th on ESPN. I just think that's I know you ranked him 11th. I think you're crazy. I think going 11th is crazy. I think he's going to have a much better year than that. But mine outside the top 10, I went with Trey Lance, who's more like the 12 to 15 range. I know we haven't seen it in a full season. I just think, the rushing ability of quarterbacks is such what they call like a cheat code. It's such a cheat code. They get so many points. It raises the floor so much on their points. Mm-hmm. And the top guys almost always are rushers, So he's like, welcome to the party, Trey Lance.
It's funny, like, I know we're using the term sleeper because they're, being drafted outside of a number, but like that is probably the least sleeperish name for any like young, unproven guy. Like Trey Lance has obviously been the biggest question mark.
Very, very buzzy.
But for what our purposes is, obviously, yes, it fits perfectly. But it's just funny to see like sleepers of the year, Stafford and Trey Lance.
Yeah. It is crazy. They're both. I mean, it's crazy that Stafford. You're right. It's crazy. He's outside the top 10 though. It's such a household name too, and he balled out last year. But
yeah,
people be crazy. All right, tight ends outside the top 10. I mentioned him. You mentioned yours. I'm going Cole Kmet. He's being drafted in the 14 to 15th range of tight ends. So give me Cole Kmet as a candidate to finish inside the top 10 or inside maybe even the top 7 or 8.
And there are plenty of mouths to feed. There's enough. He's got a big old one. Give me
Bayless Jones. N'Keal Harry's out, so he's done.
I'm talking about all the mouths in Miami, but MAGGIIC Man, he's got a big one. So get ready.
Oh, okay.
That's my guy. That's my sleeper.
MAGGIIC again. Okay. All right. The running back sleeper drafted outside the top 20. Familiar names here. AJ Dillon for me. He's going 23rd ish on Yahoo. 32nd running back on ESPN.
If the Titans ever trade for this man, watch out Tennessee.
Oh my God, I would lose it.
And watch out NFL.
He would be the heir apparent to Derrick Henry.
The Fanatics website is going to crash because Kemper's just buying every AJ.
All the jerseys. Give me them all.
Okay. AJ Dillon. Haven't heard that name yet today or in previous weeks. Just mentioned him.
About your name. Who's your name? Somebody you've never heard of, never mentioned?
Well, at least not as many times as AJ Dillon and his calves got. No, damn it. It's thighs.
Get your shit right. It's his quads. If you're going to make fun of me, at least get it right.
Get the body part right. Damn it. No, I'm going with Travis Etienne. Again, the big wild question mark. What's he going to do? He's going 24, 25-ish range. That's where he's being ranked, and as wide receivers take, or excuse me, as running backs taken. I think he could be someone who could sneak into top 15, if not top 10, if the play is right. So watch out for him.
I'm with you. Okay, wide receiver outside the top 30. Mine's definitely a name that's been mentioned. Rashad Bateman for me. I think he's going to have a great year this year. Could be a starter for me. I'd be comfortable if he was starting on my team. Lamar's
going to try and ball out in this contract year, so Rashad Bateman's going to be the heavy recipient of that. So I'm all for it.
Okay.
I'm going with the guy who I hated on last year, guy you were building up once he became a true professional, and that was one Brandon Ayuk for the Niners. So if you're going with your boy Trey Lance, being that sleeper, he's going to be a good performer. All the reports coming out of camp is that it's him and Ayuk that has that great connection, and that the fact that they worked out all summer, whereas Debo was holding out that time, so he wasn't in camp, he wasn't in these the workouts and whatnot. So if he's staying true to being a true professional, I think Ayuk could finish within the top 30 for sure, if not top.
You heard it here first. Ethan says Brandon Ayuk, who's related to Brandon Ayuk, is going to be the number 1 receiver in San Francisco.
I did not say that. Maybe
you have to draft him. You have to draft him in the second round. Go do it.
Does it count if Debo lines up as running back and then Ayuk, whatever? It's fine. They're the same. Then he'll be wide receiver 1. So there we go. In your face.
Yeah, in those plays, when Debo is in the backfield, he will literally be their number 1 receiver. That's true.
Got lawyered.
Okay, that does it for D&D, Magic Man, and Sleepers of the Year. One more segment remaining.
Whew. And that is, will you remember?
How it started versus how it's going.
Oh, go a little deep there. How it started, how it's going. I like that.
Yeah. It's like your little slide flute thing there as well.
Yeah, whoop. I like it. Okay. So yes, Kemper, you are officially on the hot seat today. And I had to dig a little deeper, but kind of. One is a little outside the box. One is kind of a gut punch. And the other is not too bad.
Okay.
All right. So what would you like first? Would you like...
Why don't you warm me up with the gut punch, I guess, the medium.
With the gut punch? All right.
Yeah.
It's not really like a big gut punch. It's kind of like you've been drinking a couple beers, like, hey, man, like that. Not like, blind side right to the stomach.
Okay. Well, that does make a difference. We'll see. I'll be the judge of that.
Okay. All right. College. The Hurricanes of Miami. Drafted. San Francisco 49ers. Ended career. New York Jets.
Wait, so these people are done?
This person is done.
So is it Frank Gore?
It is Frank Gore.
Yeah.
It is Frank Gore.
I was like, hey, that's kind of not fair. These people retired, for God's sake.
Yep. I just figured. I wish I could have just again. Maybe we need to tweak it a little bit so we can show their entire journey, because his entire journey at the end of his career was spectacular.
He was all over the place.
10 years in the Niners, went through the entire AFC East besides the Patriots. Like, it's good times. So yes.
I'll tell you, I was just kind of crazy. But like you said, Miami and the 49ers, I immediately went to Frank Gore. And so when you said it on the Jets, I was like, I kind of remember something.
What's
that,
Frank Gore?
The Jets? Like, I kind of remember that.
Yes. So
okay. It got cloudy there at the end.
Yeah, yes. Well, because he was like 1 year on each AFC East team. 1 year with the Dolphins, 1 year with the Bills, 1 year with the Jets.
Yeah. Not pretty.
Not pretty.
Okay.
All right. Next one. College.
Wait, hang on. Is this the cupcake, or is this the one that's going to absolutely murder me?
This is the so-so.
Wait.
This one's like, it's not bad. I said it was not bad. I didn't say
this
cupcake.
is your easiest one. Okay.
This is the easiest of the 3.
Okay.
College. Northern Illinois.
Drafted.
Detroit. Current. Giants.
I didn't know. That's got to be Kenny Galladay. I didn't know he went to Northern Illinois.
And I didn't either. I was wrong in a previous episode because I said he went to Nevada. And so when I was clicking on Galladay, I was like, oh crap, Northern Illinois. I thought it was Nevada. So I apologize.
I thought you were going to go drafted Falcons. Do you know who that would have been? Out of the league now. Yeah.
Ooh, for Northern. No. Who?
Michael the Burner Turner.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Forgot that name, didn't you? Yeah.
All right, Bob. Well, this isn't fair. You lived in Illinois. What is the mascot?
Although he could have been a Charger for a bit too. I forget.
Get out of here.
I think he was a Charger first, and then he went to the Falcons. I don't remember.
What is the mascot of Northern Illinois?
Um.
Maction, baby. Come on.
Oh my God. Huskies.
There you go. I was gonna say
Yeah.
you're
Duh.
Louisville.
I was like, dude, I live in Illinois. I had a friend who was
How
a
far was
cheerleader
the
there.
cow?
Oh, it's like 2.5 hours north,
Okay.
maybe 3. I had one of my best friends in high school was a cheerleader. She went to go cheer there.
Okay.
Obviously, I know the Huskies. Yeah.
All right. So here's the hardest one. Maybe this is for me, but for such a stud like you who knows
Ugh.
how it started versus how it's going. College. OSU.
OSU. Hang on. Whoa. Hang on. Is that all you're gonna give me?
We're leaving OSU.
Oh my God. You dick. Okay. All right. Fine.
Drafted. Carolina.
Carolina Panthers. Yes.
Yes, Carolina Panthers.
Okay. Just double checking.
Currently, Washington Commanders.
Curtis Samuel, Ohio State.
Curtis, the man Samuel.
OSU, you jerk. Trying to get me with that.
Well, you're really thinking Oregon State? Come on.
Or Oklahoma State. There's 3 Power 5 teams that are OSU.
But when you say OSU, who do you think of? Like, what is the first one?
Well, I don't know. I guess I thought Ohio State first, but
That was your first thought.
because you said OSU instead of Ohio State, I started thinking you were being a jerk and you were thinking Oregon State or Oklahoma State.
I just feel like when you talk about Oklahoma or Oregon State, you'll say like Oklahoma State, Oregon State.
Well, you say the Ohio State University when you're talking about the Buckeyes.
Only if you're a tool, you say the.
I agree. I totally agree with that.
Well, all right, man. You went 3 for 3.
Again. 3 for 3.
I gave you some funky ones, and you got it. You got a retiree, you got a third wide receiver in Curtis Samuel, and someone who I thought went to the other school in Kentucky.
So
there you go.
That was like a long play on your part. It was like you threw me off the scent several episodes ago. You're like, no, he's definitely Nevada. Definitely Nevada.
He played with Colin Kaepernick. Nevada.
Yeah, definitely Nevada. Oh gosh. Okay. Crushed it, man.
Well done.
I feel, now that I'm thinking about it, I feel pretty certain that Michael Turner was drafted by the Chargers when LT was there, and then went to the Falcons to become their lead back and was a stud for like 2 years.
That does kind of ring a bell.
I think that's how that went.
Okay. Stat Boy will check it out.
Stat Boy will check it out.
As his nerd Stat Boy checking on the bad guy names in D&D. So
that's right. Was Vecna a real bad guy in D&D?
We're going to check that. Maybe either in the show notes or next
show up in the video. I'm sure it'll show up in the video edits.
The video edits, which are fire. So
if you're not watching the video right now, it's like, shame on you. You need to be only watching the video going forward on YouTube. It's linked in the show notes. Thing is fire.
It is fire.
And you can see our handsome faces all the time. And the sweet Banana Hammer shirts.
And Banana Hammer.
What's a coordinated Banana Hammer Day as well?
I do need. Yes, you're right. That will be a day. It will be a thing.
If we get Drader on the mock draft, we have 3 Banana Hammer shirts.
He said he's in on the mock draft, and that's what I was getting to. Our promo that a week from today, we'll be doing a live mock draft, and I think we already got about 6 or 7 people, which is great. We need 1 or 2 more, and so if you're interested, let us know. But otherwise, so that's coming out on Thursday. We're going to do some perfect drafts coming up in the next episode. So
Tuesday, perfect draft. This is a big one. This is how Sonya Troll became a first-time champion.
Is she doing it again this year?
She better be.
I was going to say.
She's probably waiting on our perfect draft episode to make sure she knows who to get.
There it is. So perfect draft coming up. We got a mock draft live. It's going to be coming up. A lot of great stuff. Stay tuned. And as always, keep on folding.
Fold it.